Hello and welcome to FTTR. I'm Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking WWE Icons Episode 3. Don't ask me why I haven't reviewed the Yokozuna one. I haven't got around to watching it yet for some reason, so I'm doing this sort of out of order. Started with Beth Phoenix, now we're talking Rob Van Dam, the whole effing show. And this documentary is about an hour and 20 minutes. It's quite a substantial documentary, like the Beth Phoenix one. And I'm going to tell you if it's any good, if it's worth watching, if it is worth diving into. Let me tell you right now. So for anyone who doesn't know, Rob Van Dam was a wrestler who primarily wrestled in ECW back in the late 90s and early 2000s. And his style was very different to a lot of what you see at the product at that time. You know, it was very high flying, it was very extreme. It was insane. Rob Van Dam was a pioneer, to be honest, of some of the best sort of extreme high flying wrestling that we know today. And this documentary explores from his early days as a professional wrestler to his current ventures, which I'll get into. There might be mild spoilers in here about Rob Van Dam. With it being a documentary, I'm going to have to go into some of those details to give you the full sort of recommendation. So yeah, if you're not bothered about spoilers, keep watching. If you don't want any spoilers, check out this documentary. It's really good. There you go. So we start off with Rob Van Dam as a kid, and it's sort of about him getting into wrestling. You know, he watches one match and he just gets hooked, like a lot of different, wrestlers that we've seen. He gets hooked by watching it at his friend's house and going to a show. And there's a really interesting piece of footage of him going to the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and kissing his foot as part of a house show. So testing out like vignettes and stuff for the $1 Million Man. And he gets picked from the crowd, Rob Van Dam does, and kisses his shoe. And that sort of like fuels him into wanting to get into that crazy shape. And there's a lot of, I've got an itch. I've got a nasty itch. That sort of fuels him into, finding how to become a pro wrestler. And there's a really interesting story in there about him walking around town with one of his friends and seeing that someone has a wrestling ring in their backyard. Turns out it's a, world kickboxing champion. Sorry again. Very itchy nose. Hay fever. I apologise. But that sort of spurs him into the sort of kickboxing style and the various offense that we see from Rob Van Dam today. And it's a really interesting one. I don't think it's as hard hitting as some of the other documentaries, but sort of the middle section was absolutely fascinating to me. It's sort of the whole ECW debacle and the company as a whole, and how Rob Van Dam, he pretty much bled ECW, that promotion that he just wanted to keep alive so badly, and he tried so hard to keep it alive, not accepting paychecks from owner Paul Heyman at the time. And it was just heartbreaking, that stuff, seeing everyone involved with ECW just kind of like fight so hard to keep it alive. And it really sort of echoes the 3-hour-long documentary, The Rise and Fall of ECW, that is also available on the WWE Network. That sort of portion was the most interesting to me. The sort of from ECW up to One Night Stand. And One Night Stand in this is treated as, a really amazing show, really sort of moving, groundbreaking show for the promotion at the time, which it was. It was this sort of venture into edgier stuff for WWE again, and this one-off show for ECW fans to get together. And that was just heartwarming. It was really heartwarming, that. And then getting into the stuff about, ECW One Night Stand 2006, which is where Rob Van Dam won the WWE Championship. That stuff was so cool. The downside with that section, so that's where he beats John Cena in Philadelphia, and the crowd is just nuclear. The one issue with that I found is they really needed some sort of talking head from John Cena, and that I really wanted to know John Cena's perspective on that sort of thing, being that he was WWE champion at the time and he's an absolute megastar. I think having him not be a part of that was really weird. It was a bit odd. It's sort of like missing this key piece of information. But other than that, I'd say this is a terrific documentary. I think these WWE Icons stuff are really running away with it, you know. They tell it in a cohesive way, you know, they don't really shy away from things, you know, there's drug use in this, what do you call it? Not up on police terms. Is it DUI? Or was that driving under the influence? Yeah, DUI. That he faced with Sabu in 2006, which is why he got stripped of both the ECW and WWE Championship. That stuff's explored quite a bit, and all the stuff that he's doing now with marijuana, you know, his own sort of medical forays into that world that I don't know much about, to be honest. So I'm rambling a bit, but WWE Icons, I think, are really sort of doing a good job at portraying these wrestlers. And what I like about it is it's showing, you know, some of the downsides of WWE. It's not being too puff piecey like the Ruthless Aggression documentary was. This is showing that, you know, not everyone liked Rob Van Dam, and it made me feel bad for Rob Van Dam because he's delivering stuff in his way, not necessarily the way the company want it to be delivered. So that altogether, I thought it was just quite heartwarming, this one. It was a really heartwarming documentary that I would highly recommend if you had the WWE Network. Don't sleep on this, it was really genuinely good. I'd give this a 4 out of 5. It was really good. Maybe they could have gone deeper into certain aspects if it had sort of like a 140, 2 hour run time. But other than that, I can't really fault it that much. There's just a few more bits that I would have wanted elaborating on, like the stuff with John Cena, and to be honest, some of his training is sort of breezed over a little bit. But other than that, really good job again. Really loving this Icon series. Let me know what you think of the Icon series. Have you watched any? Which one has been your favourite so far? Let me know down in the comments and I'll try and reply to every single one of you. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.